They're everywhere, watching you, influencing you, controlling you, all you see and all you hear, manipulating your media, education, healthcare, financial, political, and economic systems. So, who are the notorious they? You've likely heard names in hushed conversations: the Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, organizations hiding in the shadows, pulling strings that affect millions. But there's names less spoken, one that intricately ties every ring of power together: Cecil Rhodes. This British magnate, with dreams that surpass diamond mines and scholarships, dreamt of an empire on which the sun never sets. A world unified under British dominion, and to achieve that, he strategized, building an entire hierarchy, a system of rings within rings within rings, with him and his elect at the heart of it all. It's no accident that the United Nations, Bilderberg Group, or other various organizations often distract conspiracy enthusiasts. They're the outer layers, but look closer and you'll find Rhodes' fingerprint on the pulse of world events. Cecil John Rhodes, a man with vast diamond mines, a scholarship in his name, and a vision to bring the world under the British Empire. But Rhodes wasn't just content with any form of control, he wanted it absolute, underpinning every major system in the world. His dream? A secret society that has its hands reaching every corner of the globe. You see, by the time he was 30, he had already taken control of 90% of the world's diamond mines with De Beers. With his immense wealth and influence, he began to shape the world according to his vision. But to do this effectively, he would need trusted allies. Imagine a dartboard. At the very center, the bullseye, is a society of elect, the very inner circle, comprising 4 members, including Rhodes himself. These were the masterminds, the people responsible for the overarching strategies and plans. Then you have the first concentric circle around it, the circle of initiates. These were influential figures, drawn from the highest echelons of society. Think of them as the guardians of the plan, ensuring it remains on course through the ages. Move outward and we encounter the next layer, the Association of Helpers. Names like the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg Group emerge here. You may have heard of these clubs, where the rich and powerful gather in secret. They're the arms and legs of the society, the ones who execute the vision on the ground. Finally, the outermost circle. Here lies the visible structures of power: media houses, financial institutions, political parties, business corporations, public figures, and more. They, perhaps unknowingly, echo the influence of the inner circles. Over the years, if you look closely enough, you can see their influence in major world events. Wars sparked seemingly out of nowhere, economic crashes that blindsided experts, sudden shifts in political climates, and the rise and fall of world leaders. The hidden hand of society was everywhere. Rhodes himself said, "I contend that we are the first race in the world, and that the more of the world we inhabit, the better it is for the human race." Rhodes' goal was about crafting a world where the British way was the only way. As the years went by, the society adapted. The British Empire may have receded from the world stage, but Rhodes' vision persisted. It evolved into a desire for a global Anglo-centric control, transcending beyond geographical borders. The society saw globalization not as a mere economic phenomena, but as their creation, their tool to expand their influence even further. Have you ever wondered about the unlikely rise to fame of certain tech giants, or how specific narratives suddenly dominate every news outlet? It's not a coincidence that particular policies get pushed globally at the same time. It's the work of the outermost layer, corresponding with each of the inner circles. To understand the reach of Rhodes Society, you have to understand the significance of their connections to Freemasonry. Freemasonry, with its global network of lodges, was a vast web of influence, connecting monarchs, statesmen, and thinkers. This served as an opportunity for Rhodes to meet and recruit future members of his secret society. Through this, Rhodes' vision continued to spread far and wide. If one were to trace the roots of Rhodes' rings of power, an intriguing parallel emerges with the Bavarian Illuminati. Founded in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, the Illuminati was a group that aimed to infiltrate and influence organizations of power to bring about secular governance. To achieve this, the Illuminati believed in influencing the influencers, targeting the powerful, the elites, to sway the direction of entire nations. However, in 1785, just years after its inception, the Bavarian government raided homes of key Illuminati members. When the group's detailed plans and documents were discovered, their hidden ambitions and methods became public records, revealing to the world the Illuminati strategy. Rhodes and Weishaupt met regularly, discussing Rhodes' ambitions and deep admiration for the Illuminati structure. In fact, Weishaupt was so impressed by Rhodes' ambitions, he funded the establishment of the Rhodes Group. Naturally, Rhodes molded the rings within ring structure of the Rhodes Group after Weishaupt's Illuminati. Connecting the dots, it becomes evident that while preceding societies in history, like the Illuminati, may have vanished from the public eye, their methods and influence lived on, inspiring a new generation of power brokers like Rhodes to shape the world according to their vision. At the very center stood the Society of the Elect, the Masterminds. Cecil Rhodes himself, a man of great wealth and even greater ambitions. Then there was William Thomas Stead, a pioneer of investigative journalism who had the ears of the masses. Stead was more than just a journalist. He was a mastermind of public sentiment. Through the Gazette, his newspaper, Stead had the rare ability to control narratives, molding them into a form that aligned with the society's vision. He was known for his powerful writings that often resonated with the ideas of the British Empire. There's a side to Stead that's less talked about: his connection to the Freemasons. His Freemason initiation took place in the Prince of Wales Lodge, number 259. As we mentioned, their connections to Freemasonry are significant because it's a secretive global fraternity which allowed them to covertly find people in alignment with their objectives. His connection with Rhodes was the keystone. They shared ambitions and a profound belief in a destiny larger than themselves, which made them natural allies. Through the letters and private meetings, Rhodes shared his vision of a world under British dominion. It was a blueprint. He leaned on Stead, using his media influence to ensure he could sway public sentiment and that his vision permeated every British household. Stead's articles, interviews, and editorials often subtly championed Rhodes' causes, whether it was the expansion in Africa or the need for a strong, united British Empire. Reginald Balliol Brett, an advisor to Queen Victoria, added political clout and insider knowledge. He was a man who knew how to pull the strings behind the scenes. Educated at top schools like Eton and Cambridge, he was well prepared to mix with the power players of his time. What's fascinating about Brett was his vast network. He knew everyone, from kings to prime ministers. Imagine having a contact list that's a who's who of Britain's elite. That was Brett. The most intriguing part is in his diaries, in which he wrote about secret meetings, conversations, and even the strategies of the British Empire. If you ever wanted an inside look into the backstage of British power, his diaries are your golden ticket. Now, like Stead, Brett also had ties with the Freemasons, but he was more low-key about it. The diaries, however, do hint at it. And remember, back then, being a Freemason wasn't just about secret handshakes. It was about connections and influence. The real game changer for Brett was his link with Rhodes and the inner circle of the secret society. Rhodes didn't just see a friend in Brett, he saw a partner in crime, someone who knew British politics inside out. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with. Rhodes had the big ideas, and Brett knew how to make them work in the real world. He was the one that made sure the society's goals lined up with what was happening in Britain. Alfred Milner, a British Secretary of State for War and Colonial Administration, spearheaded this group, ensuring the will of the elect was done. When you think of Alfred Milner, think of a man with a mission. But beyond that, he had a knack for administration and governance. He was the kind of guy who made sure things got done, and got done well. He's best known for his time in South Africa, where he was the High Commissioner, Governor of the Cape Colony, and President during the Boer War. His main role? To ensure British dominance in the region. Remember, this was a time when controlling regions meant power, resources, and influence. South Africa is one of the largest global producers of gold and diamonds, and Milner made sure they were in British hands. Milner had a group around him, often referred to as Milner's Kindergarten. As cute as it sounds, it wasn't. This was a group of young, ambitious men who helped Milner in his goals. And guess what? Many of them had ties to Rhodes' secret society. Milner and Rhodes were like two sides of the same coin. While Rhodes had the vision, Milner had the strategy. He played a big part in planning the future of the British Empire. Rhodes' goals of British dominance found a strategist in Milner. He knew how to navigate the tricky waters of international politics, making sure Rhodes' dreams were more than just dreams. One thing that stands out about Milner is his belief in British superiority. He believed that the British had a duty to lead and civilize the world. It was all about power. This belief fit perfectly with the society's goals. In essence, Milner was the field marshal for Rhodes' vision. Every move he made, from South Africa to his policies back in Britain, all aligned with the society's plans. Their vision was of an invisible British Empire, governing not by direct rule, but by influence. While the empire would lose territory on the map, this new empire of the mind, media, and finance would span the globe. Together, they would devise the strategies, make the big decisions, and set the goals for the society. Their chosen few would influence kings, shape nations, and write history without ever being its face. Surrounding this core was a circle of initiates. These weren't just figureheads, they were powerful men in their own right. If the elect were the brains, the initiates were the heart. Arthur James Balfour. His tenure as the UK's Prime Minister showcased his political prowess. His connection to the society and his position allowed him to push forward policies and ideas that aligned with the broader vision of British dominance. Moreover, his relationship with certain financial magnates, such as Rothschild, allowed for strategic collaborations. But what truly distinguishes Balfour in this intricate web of power and influence was his devout support for Zionism. In November of 1917, during the First World War, Balfour made a monumental move that would reshape geopolitical landscapes: the Balfour Declaration. This wasn't just any public statement. The declaration reads,
His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object.
This proclamation underpinned the full weight of His Majesty's government, a nod from King George V. This was no simple pledge. The Balfour Declaration was a strategic piece on the global chessboard. Under a League of Nations mandate, Britain was required to put the Balfour Declaration's national home for Jewish people into effect, and Britain assumed responsibility for Palestine. Between 1918 and 1948, Palestine witnessed a significant influx of Jewish immigrants, and gradually, the landscape of the region transformed, turning Palestine into a Jewish state. Out of a total population of nearly 806,000, an overwhelming 650,000 identified as Jewish. Balfour's orchestration of the Declaration, when looked at in isolation, wasn't just about establishing a homeland. It was about reshaping territories, aligning global powers, and further embedding the influence of the British. Additionally, Balfour's ties to financial powerhouses like the Rothschilds weren't mere coincidences. They were deliberate alliances, fortifying the strategy, ensuring resources and backing were always within reach. Henry Hamilton Johnston. Johnston's footprints across Africa were more than those of an explorer. He laid down the pathways for British dominance in areas of the continent that were still untouched. His intricate understanding of the African landscapes and the political dynamics made him indispensable to the society's objectives for the region. As they sought to expand the British influence in Africa, Johnston became a key advisor, providing on-ground perspectives and facilitating smoother transitions of power. Nathaniel Meyer Rothschild, 1st Baron. The Rothschild name carried with it a global financial dominion. Beyond banking, Rothschild wielded a power that could make or break nations. With his family's expansive financial network, Nathaniel Rothschild was the society's key to ensuring that global finance was another tool in furthering their objectives. While Rhodes had the vision, Rothschild had the means. It's believed that Rhodes confided in Rothschilds not just as a friend, but also as a financial ally. Their correspondence reveals a deep mutual respect and a shared ambition for the global dominance of British ideals. When Rhodes' ambitious projects, like the British South Africa Company, needed financial backing, Rothschilds played a key role. In return, the financial gains from these ventures bolstered the Rothschild empire even further. While many of his endeavors were out in the open, Rothschild's real influence lay behind the scenes. Whether it was influencing monetary policies, funding wars, or backing political candidates, the Rothschild touch was omnipresent, shaping events without ever coming to the forefront. Albert Lewis Gray. Gray was the man behind the curtain in a world of media and publishing. In a time when news was becoming the new currency of power, Gray made sure the society's version of events always made headlines. It's like he had this knack for shaping public opinion, always spinning tales that matched up perfectly with the secret plans of the society. So while the world read the news, Gray was the one subtly writing the script. Each of these figures, stationed at various corners of society, were the right and left hands of the Society of the Elect. They not only executed the master plan, but also ensured the true extent of their reach remained covert. Beyond the initiates lay the vast network of the Association of Helpers. Comprising formidable individuals such as prominent bankers, financiers, and business tycoons like J.P. Morgan and the Rockefeller family, this group's recruitment tactics varied. Some individuals were directly sought after. For example, in 1899, J.P. Morgan attended the International Bankers' Convention in London, where he was recruited by Nathaniel Meyer Rothschild, while others were drawn in through the involvement of entire organizations, forming a dynamic and interconnected network of power. The global landscape of influential organizations is marked by the establishment of several noteworthy entities. The Club of Rome, founded April 7, 1968, by Aurelio Pecci, Alexander King, and David Rockefeller, The Club of Rome is a group of scholars, experts, and policymakers that aim to address global changes and promote sustainable development. The Trilateral Commission, established by David Rockefeller, Zbigniew Brzezinski, and Jimmy Carter, the Trilateral Commission is a non-governmental organization dedicated to fostering cooperation among North America, Europe, and Asia to address international issues. The Bilderberg Group, founded May 29, 1954, by Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands Islands, along with other key individuals from politics, business, and academia. It's an annual conference that facilitates discussions on a range of global topics. The United Nations, founded October 24, 1945. The United Nations was established in the aftermath of World War II to promote international cooperation and prevent conflicts. It was founded by representatives of 51 countries. The Council of Foreign Relations, founded July 29, 1921. Founded by a group of scholars, diplomats, and business leaders, including Eli Root and Paul Wahlberg, the CFR is a think tank focused on U.S. foreign policy and international affairs. The Royal Institution of International Affairs, founded July 30, 1920. Established by Lionel Curtis and a group of diplomats, scholars, and public figures, the Royal Institution of International Affairs is a British think tank that analyzes and discusses global issues. These organizations, with their diverse focuses and origins, have played significant roles in shaping global policies, fostering cooperation, and influencing international discourse. While the foundational groups we've outlined provided intellectual and policy-driven leadership, the real influence lies in the faces and entities that people interact with daily. The society's impact would only be truly profound if it spanned every facet of public life, from the news they consumed to the icons they admired. Therefore, another layer emerged, a more visible one, tailored to sway public perception and align it with the broader objectives. On the outermost layer, the world interacted with the front groups, the media companies, certain governments, and financial institutions. This is where the invisible hand was most visible, but also where it was most overlooked. To the ordinary citizen, it was just news, policy, or business. But in reality, every move was a carefully orchestrated plan directed by those at the core. These organizations, seemingly unrelated, were the final piece in the puzzle, and while they seemed to act independently, they were collectively under the control of the Rhodes Group. Composed of varying entities, it ensures the society's philosophies reach from the highest echelons of power right to the dinner tables in homes across the world. Celebrity involvement. Key figures from actors to musicians subtly embed the society's narratives into their work, reaching millions in a single captivating moment. Corporate influence. Financial giants such as BlackRock and Vanguard transcend their roles as mere market participants. Through their substantial holdings in worldwide corporations, they mold corporate narratives, influence policies, and even exert a nuanced sway over global markets, subtly steering the world in alignment with the society's overarching goals. Media and news outlets. In a world driven by headlines and sound bites, the control over narrative is paramount. Of course, mainstream outlets report, but they also curate worldviews, emphasizing some stories while artfully sidestepping others. Agricultural organizations. At the intersection of science, commerce, and sustenance, these organizations determine more than just crop yields. They influence dietary habits, control food supply chains, and even shape the land itself, all in alignment with a greater vision. Educational institutions. From kindergarten classrooms to prestigious universities, education molds minds. Curriculum choices, research directions, and even campus cultures are all steered to align young minds with the society's long-term goals. Non-profitable organizations and charities. Wearing the facade of altruism, certain organizations serve dual purposes. While affecting genuine change, they also strategically advance the society's objectives. Social movements. Genuine societal concerns can sometimes be co-opted, steering public energy and focus towards or away from specific issues, thereby advancing the society's agenda. Sports and cultural groups. Beyond the thrill of games or the pull of culture lies influence. From team owners to event sponsors, the society's reach ensures that these mediums also echo their larger narrative. Religious organizations. The power of faith can't be overstated. By guiding spiritual narratives, the society has a direct line to the moral compass of countless believers. This front group is where the society's abstract strategies materialize, becoming the livid experiences and influences for billions, seamlessly integrating society's extensive design into everyday life. We've revealed the layers of these intricate rings of power, shedding light on how they cast their influence globally. From the British colonists to the Old Age empire seekers, there's always been a common ambition, not just to rule territories, but to dominate minds and cultures. These rings, they're more than just organizational charts. They're the playbooks of those who dream big, those who want more than just land or wealth, but to steer the narrative and dictate the pulses of societies. So far, we've only covered who they are. Stay tuned for a future video where we'll go in depth about the full plan of the New World Order, the various steps of its execution, and implications for all of us. Intrigued about what lies ahead? Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out.